And if they've got an hour worth of time, they spend the first 45 minutes talking about themselves, their pedigree, their background, how great they are, how resourced they are. The best pitch that I've ever seen and that I advise my clients on all the time is to sit down and say, listen, it's great to be here with you folks. We're happy to spend some time to go into our background if you'd like. But really what is most interesting to us is, and they jump right into a question about the person or the company that they're in front of. Again, whoever you're meeting with has probably done their due diligence to find out who you are. That's why you're in the room. Don't spend 45 more minutes telling them about how great you are. I just don't think it's going to end well, and I see it 99% of the time.
David, you look like you want to say something.
I'm just nodding. I think he's right.
You can stay, David.
Thank you, John. Been blessed. No, I think, I was just nodding because I'm thinking back. I mean, I'm going to be the first to cop to, I have been that guy who's talked for 45 minutes about themselves, right? In my early years, I gave a lot of really lousy pitches. And I'm thinking, what was going on for me? Like, what was I thinking? I did that thing. And what occurs to me is I was just nervous and I didn't have a game plan. Right? Like if you don't know what the roadmap is, then the default is, we'll talk about yourself and maybe you'll somehow convince them that you're wonderful and they'll hire you. And I think that, we're going to get there, Robin, with some of your questions, but having some sort of structure will help you avoid the pitfall that Jonathan has described, I think, so well.
The question we all have to ask ourselves is, do we really believe that we can help the client and we're the best at it than all the competition? If you believe that, then you've got to go into that pitch with everything you've got. Because the one thing that I've heard in so many cases when you don't get chosen is the client was an idiot. They didn't choose me. Well, the reason why they didn't choose you is not because of the client, but because the fault lies in us. When we don't win the account, it's our fault. And all the things that we talk about today a lot of them are going to be conceptual because we don't have like 4 days to go over this. But the key is, if you really believe that you are the best, then all these things are going to be really important. You're going to concentrate on them. You're going to concentrate on the fact that you don't have an hour and a half of attention. You've got, at the most, 1 hour. So if you're wasting any of that time on side issues, or you're wasting any of that time telling a joke, forget it. You're going to lose this pitch. You've got to spend every minute.
Some of you have 10 minutes. If there's a lot of people, you're given 10 minutes. You really got to get to the point.
You've got to be memorable quickly.
Can you just talk twice as fast and then you essentially have 2 hours? Because that works too.
That's right.
David, don't put the mic down yet, because I'd like you to start, if you would, talking about how you properly prepare for a pitch.
I didn't hear it.
Listening is the number one key. How do you
We'll get to that.
properly prepare for a pitch?
Okay. The first thing is, the way that I prepare is I want to prepare in finding out what not to say in the meeting. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but there are certain things you want to avoid in a meeting. And certainly if the person is a dog lover, you don't want to make a point about you don't like animals, something like that. So I'm always looking for things to avoid so that I don't say something to ruin the flow of the pitch, because I have seen so many times that people do that. They get off on tangents and the business owner is not interested in that. The good news is that everything is online, so you can find out where they went to school, you can find out what their hobbies are, you can go to, oftentimes, their company, there's a profile on them. Where they went to school, maybe even their sorority or fraternity is important. If they played a sport someplace, or if they have a hobby. All these things, I wouldn't concentrate on them, but you know at least what to avoid or what to bring up. If you can come up with an analogy, which is what I try to do, an analogy of something that is involved with your pitch, that has something to do with their background, it clicks right away with them. But you don't know that unless you do some research.